Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time you're watching us from whatever part of the world. Karibuni sana to another episode of Inuka Powertalks. And this month, we have yet another exciting, person coming to talk to us about a topic that affects leadership. And really, Powertalks is our monthly forum where you get to interact, to engage, to connect, and really to sharpen each other in matters leadership. And so without further ado, I just want to introduce the speaker for this month. And so this month, we have an amazing speaker who is a coach at Inuka. She's a personal and a certified coach. She's a CEO at Passion Profit. And this is none other than Frida Owinga, and she's passionate about entrepreneurship and leadership. And she's going to be talking to us about hybrid working. So COVID has thrown us into this, confusion of, trying to figure out, do we go to the office, do we work from home? And some of us have really come up with this hybrid way of working. So how can we still be effective as leaders? How can we be extraordinary in our leadership as we still work from home? I mean, I've been working from home and I can tell you, sometimes your concentration is just thrown out of the window because maybe, house chores are there waiting for you or your kids are distracting you here and there. But how can we be still effective even as we try to explore a hybrid working formula, even in these COVID times? So ladies and gentlemen, tuone makofi hapo kwa comment section, and please help me welcome Frida Owinga as she shares on this topic in this month's Power Talk. We'll be back after the session with a Q&A, so stick around and note as many questions as you have, and we're going to address them immediately after the talk is done. Karibuni sana.
Hi, my name is Frida Owinga, and I'm the founder of Passion Profit. At Passion Profit, we help people set the pace in life and work so that they can win. And win could be so that you can thrive, so that you can produce the results that matter most to you. Basically, we help people to package their passion into revenue-generating ventures, and the revenue-generating venture is your work. Today, I'm excited. I'll be speaking about what we have titled Ordinary versus Extraordinary in the Hybrid Working Environment. And of course, COVID is everywhere. We can pretend it's not there, but it's there, and it has really affected the way we do work. And I'll be sharing with you on ordinary versus extraordinary leadership. What do ordinary leaders do, and what do extraordinary leaders do that make them stand out, especially in this time when we have to work with people remotely? It's really hybrid, because sometimes we work with them online and sometimes we have them meeting with us, masked up and all that. So the first thing about ordinary and extraordinary, ordinary leadership is influence, all right? Ordinary leadership is influence, and an ordinary leader has a strategy, that is a plan of action. They have systems, they have step-by-step processes of how to make their plan come to life, and they also have a structure. A structure defines the roles and responsibilities of the people that are going to make the work happen. So that is normal, that is ordinary, that is what any regular leader needs to do. But when it comes to the extraordinary leaders have another set of 3 things that they do, and I'm going to walk through each one of them before we finish this video. So extraordinary leadership is impact. So ordinary leadership is influence, extraordinary leadership is impact. And to be impactful, extraordinary leaders suspend judgment, all right? They suspend judgment by asking questions instead of making assumptions. So that means that they do not go with stereotypes. Ordinary leaders go with stereotypes. They've been around, they know a lot, and they continue to assume people will do the same things all the time. But extraordinary leaders go a step further. They suspend judgment and refuse to do stereotyping. The other thing extraordinary leaders do is they resist silos. So they find a way to ensure that their people are working together. There's no divide and rule kind of structure, but people coming together to work together. And that is what makes them extraordinary, and they're able to have impact. And I'll show you how. And finally, extraordinary leaders, there's a word I really hate, and forgive me if you like it, benchmarking, all right? Ordinary leaders benchmark, and there's nothing wrong with benchmarking. sometimes it's a quiet way of us copying people. That's why I don't like the word benchmark. So extraordinary leaders, they innovate and they create signature styles. They're not shy about standing out. They're not shy about breaking the rules. Okay, should I say they're not shy about breaking the bench? So we're going to go back and look at them one by one. First, we're going to start with the ordinary leader. As an ordinary leader, for you to have influence, you must have a strategy. And strategy doesn't happen in a vacuum. Before you can have a strategy, you need to have a vision. John Maxwell says that write your vision in ink and your strategy in pencil. Why? Look at COVID. COVID has come. You may have had, you're going to go on retreat, you're going to do this and the other, and then COVID has come and disrupted everything. So it's important to write your vision in ink, but your strategy in pencil, because you can rub it, you can be agile. You will need to be resilient because things are going to fall apart and you will need to bounce back from any setback that you get. So the first thing is have a vision. Ordinary leaders have a strategy that is born out of a vision. And what is a vision? It's a clear mental image of a preferable future. So as a leader in a hybrid space, you need to define what is the big end that you have in mind. Because a clear mental image of a preferable future. This is how things are now. People can't come to the office. People are working from home. They're working on Zoom. Sometimes Zoom, they can't get on Zoom because there's no power. What do you do? So you must have a way of ensuring that your people are connected and they're engaged and motivated, all right? So we're going to go through the traits of the ordinary leader, and I'll be pulling in what you can do as a leader in the remote working space. So when you set up your strategy, you want to consider how are you going to stay connected with your people on virtual. Yes, you're going to have different Zoom meetings or whatever online meetings that you want, but you can also have, because we are not totally disconnected from meeting with people. Yes, it is social distancing, but you can have once a month. You can have a once a month huddle. You don't have to come all of you, and you can you don't have to have the same department meeting together all the time. One of the things we do at an organization that I serve in, we have a monthly huddle, and in the monthly huddle, we don't talk work. In the monthly huddle, what we do, people get in different rooms, people that don't work together ordinarily, and they get to share their highlights and their lowlights, all right? So that way, it keeps them not just looking at work, but also getting to know each other, getting to know what is happening outside work, how they can tap into different kinds of opportunities and options. So number one, you need a strategy, whether you're ordinary or extraordinary. Number two, you need systems. And systems is a step-by-step process of producing the same results. So in the regular world, of course, we had things written down. We probably had a cabinet somewhere we could go and read. And in the hybrid time, we still have an opportunity to do that because we can use spaces like Google Workspace, we can use Microsoft Office, we can use OneDrive, so that you have one space where people can get everything. We don't need to go to a cabinet to get things, but we do know where things are. And different people have access to the information that we need. So when we talk about systems, having a work plan is extremely critical. And when you have a work plan, consider all the work that is done in the organization, all right? All the work that is done in the organization. It sounds hard, it sounds big, and it will depend from one organization to another. But the first thing that you want to do, what are the big rocks of the organization? What are the things that are done on a day-to-day, on a week-to-week, on a month-to-month? Who are the people that do that work? And you can easily have an Excel sheet that is shared with everyone, and you have what happens during the week. Like in this organization that I serve at, they have a lot of events. Every Tuesday and Thursday there's an event, and there are program teams that take care of each event. So there's a Google worksheet, and you just log in to know this week who is going to take part, who is going to participate in the different tasks. All right. So that way it's one dashboard, and it's connected with people across the organization. I kind of like the hybrid because we are not working from office to office. You can just log in on your computer. You can even log in on your phone and see the schedule, put in the time that you can serve. If you're not able to serve, you can see who is not serving somewhere else. so that you can even call and make a quick exchange, as opposed to getting frustrated. The person is not in the office, you can't see them. So I believe that the hybrid situation is giving us a lot of opportunity, just like it has been said that every dark cloud has a silver lining. So having systems in a place where everybody can access is one good thing that COVID has done for us. We can use Google Workspace, you can use OneDrive, just ensure the people that have access, people have different levels of access in different spaces. So this gives you one dashboard together where you can access all the information that you need. So remember, systems, step-by-step process of producing the same result, of producing consistent results. So these results need to be measured. One thing that we have done as an organization, at the end of every event, we have a debrief. And the debrief helps us to understand, how did the event go? What are some things that we can improve? Where did the ball drop? Especially when we are having hybrid events. And before the event, we also have a dry run. Many people wing things, and that is one way of living. But I find that when you do a dry run, the event will flow smoother, because you'll have people coming in. And when you do a dry run, it's the run of what is actually going to happen. The key thing to do is ensure that the people who are playing different roles, they have an actual introduction of how they're going to start their part and then how they're going to end their part, so that everybody is on cue. You know exactly what the last person is going to say, what the person speaking currently will say, and what the next person is going to say. So that ensures that the meeting goes seamlessly. When that is not done, I've noticed that speakers tend to overspeak, and then you end up staying for long on the screen, and that's not very good for the people. You know, for people, especially now that we are working from home, they need to do other things within the house, within the spaces. But this really helps people know, when is my time going to come in, so that they're not, you know, they don't get distracted, they don't lull away, so they'll be looking away for that one word. So having a dry run helps ensure that the program will run smoothly. But a dry run without a program, the program will still go haywire. So you need to have a program. Let everybody know what the agenda of the meeting is. The person starting the meeting needs to, you can have the agenda on your screen, which is great, because the agenda can be up on the screen and you can let people know what's going to happen. And then because there'll have been a dry run, people will know their cue for who is next, and you know you have 15 minutes. Another very important thing is when you're having the virtual meetings, to agree how you will let people know it is time. I know there's one organization we had, and we say, if somebody talks too much, these are the words that you're going to say, and if somebody hears those words, then they know they need to stop. Instead of saying your time is up, we're running out of time, and this or the other. So one organization, we say, somebody will just come up and say, wow, wow, wow. Because you see, when you use the word wow, wow, the person speaking won't get startled, they won't lose their thought, and it's a good word, as opposed to, hey, time is up, you know, that kind of dips the energy. So we have to be conscious how we talk to we create cues of how to speak with each other when we are virtual, because it's very different. If you were having a physical event, I might do this, I might do some gesture or something, but on virtual we can't see one another. So having those cues are very important. Another thing is agreeing how you're going to connect with each other for if anything happens, because sometimes too many people I don't say too many people, a number of people log into the virtual space, like if you're on a Zoom or a Google Meet. When a lot of people log in, then how are you might not be able to see the chat all the time. So you want to agree how you're going to be communicating. Will you direct message the person, or will they need to have their WhatsApp handy if they have a question, so that you can get in touch with each other quickly? So those are some ways that you can manage your systems. Have the Google Drive workspace. Ensure that when you're having a meeting, people know what are the cues when time is up. People know what is the cue for transitioning from one speaker to another. People also know how to engage away from the chat if there are too many people and the chat gets lost in there, because sometimes people chat a lot and you can't see one another. So you're able to use WhatsApp for that. So ensuring that your systems are communicated across both the people who are participating. Have a dry run before the meeting, especially with the leaders. Good leaders model for their managers what is expected. And especially now in the virtual time, we have to model for people what a meeting, an online meeting looks like. Because I realized that it looks so simple when you're on screen. I remember one of the people that we served with was saying that it used to look so simple just seeing you on screen talking. You know, I didn't realize there's all this work that goes behind it. Because during the dry run, they figured out what we do, the program that we have, how to have the cues, and then we always have a debrief. The debrief will ensure that you continue to improve, you continue to get better. And then finally, the structure is the roles and responsibilities. One thing I like about virtual is that you can have one person doing multiple things. Let me say that again. You can have one person doing the same thing in multiple organizations. For instance, you can have a social media manager working for one social media manager doing social media content for multiple small business owners. Because you just need to create a proper structure of when is the content created, where is it placed, what tool is going to be used to share it, and who is going to approve before it goes live. And all these are tools that can be shared in a workspace. It can be a Google workspace or other social media tools. The value of this, we have discovered, especially for gigpreneurs, is that you structure them so that nobody is wasting time. You know that on XYZ date, these are the roles that you need to play. So it's kind of like having a factory, but it works really well if it is structured well. And structure is what is the role that needs to be played, who is responsible, so that there are no gaps. And with that also you have a dashboard. This on this date, this is what's going to happen. Your work plan dashboard showing what are the roles, what are the responsibilities, what are the timelines, and then any remarks for anybody who looks into that space to know what's going to happen. So those are standard tools that an ordinary leader has: strategy, systems, and structure, and how you can use them, especially now in the hybrid setup where we are meeting virtually. Outside video meetings, you know what to do, all right? Go out there, have fun. But remember, now, when you're having fun, you must wear your mask. So leadership is influence, and you need a strategy, you need systems, and you need structure. When it comes to extraordinary leadership is impact. It is the result of your influence on a group of given people. And the result could be good or bad, all right? Like when we used to go to school, the people who have a negative influence and the people who have a positive influence. So of course here we are referring to positive influence. So extraordinary leadership is impact. And the first thing extraordinary leaders do, they come to the table with an open mind. Coming to the table with an open mind and a 10 on every head. I'm going to say that again. Extraordinary leaders come to the table with an open mind and a 10 on every head. That means that everybody who walks into the room is not stereotyped. Or because your hair looks like this, you are like that. Or because you dress like this or you didn't dress like that. Who said? All right, we can never know until we ask people questions. So the key thing about extraordinary leaders, they come with an open mind. They come with an open mind, ready to learn, knowing they don't have all the answers, knowing that answers come from around the table, very clear that around the table there's more answers than on just one person. So extraordinary leaders are very good at suspending judgment, and that is a trait that we can all learn. There are assumptions that we have. I used to have assumptions that everybody who has dreadlocks, smokes something, one thing or another. I'm not kidding you. All right, then I realized, and I used to dread and hope my kids won't have dreadlocks, all right? And my kids are not kids, they're old people. They're 31, 29, and 27. But I realized it's just a hairstyle, just like I like my hair short. Some people like their hair long. Until I engaged with people that had dreadlocks, I didn't know why they had dreadlocks and what makes them tick. So extraordinary leaders suspend judgment. Extraordinary leaders do not stereotype. They come with an open mind to get ideas, because they understand it's a dynamic space. They come to get ideas, and they also come with a 10 on every head. Because to be honest, everybody is doing the best that they need to know. Everybody has a potential to be a 10 of who they are. If you're a Performing artist, you can be a 10 as a performing artist. The problem is when we are trying to make a performing artist be a 10 at accounting and make the accountant be a 10 at performing artistry. So as a leader, you understand that there are different traits, there are different talents, and there are different gifts on the table, and each one is at a 10. All right? Because if they have come wholly, that is who they are. Your role is to figure out how to work with them. All right? So suspend judgment, come with an open mind, and a 10, have a 10 on every head, and it can only get better. So, and especially now when you're on hybrid, how do you do that when you're not seeing people? You must have a way of engaging with people. One of the things that we do, we encourage people to open their cameras. If they're not able to open their cameras, we have them engage in the chat. You can create a language to get people to respond to you on the chat that will help you know that they are engaged or not engaged. One of the things we do in my organization is we tell people to put a YY in the chat if what you're saying is making sense. And if somebody has done really good, to put a WD. And of course, now we have the emotion icons that one can use. But that is very important to help people consistently know that somebody is listening, somebody is paying attention. So as a leader, you want to do that before the meeting starts. You want to do it for anybody who is speaking and not just for some people, all right? The next thing extraordinary leaders do that makes them have impact is they avoid silos, all right? And the silo, they eliminate silos because they understand that united we stand, divided we fall. And how do you, I want to find a good example for you for that. When it comes to silos, sometimes silos happen unintentionally, but a good leader will pay attention. And one way of paying attention, if there's silos, is always ensuring that people who tell you stories about others, you find a way to connect them with the others they're telling stories about, all right? So you don't foster an environment where you're always being told stories about others. So you always find a way to get people to engage together. And it's a very tricky balance because do you hear the stories? Do you shun the stories? How do you accommodate the stories without giving this person an upper hand to become a gossip, or without giving this person an upper hand to feel they're so special and start creating silos? So you must have a way of ensuring that appropriate information trickles to all people, so there are no people feeling that they're more special than others or they have more information than others. And this happens again in your systems and in your structure. How is information shared? So having common information in a Google Drive, in a common space where people can access, helps to reduce this silo thing, because there's nobody saying, oh, it is down the hall, or oh, it is there. It's on a Google space and every department can access it. So it really helps to reduce silos. So whatever you do, find a way to reduce silos. When people go into breakout rooms, that times people can go into breakout rooms as departments, but you can also have a time when people go into breakout rooms just randomly. So different people get to meet different people and engage, and then they come back, they have an exercise to do. And after the exercise, one person comes to share what happened in the room. So that forces them to speak to one another and also gets them to engage in a way that's very authentic, all right? So the next thing is extraordinary leadership is impact. So number one, extraordinary leaders avoid stereotypes and silos. The third thing they do is they create signature styles. And creating a signature style will, how can I put this? Creating a signature style will require you to be comfortable in your skin, all right? Because see, normally people benchmark and then the next thing they have copied what they benchmarked, all right? So in as much as there's nothing wrong with benchmarking, you should benchmark and come up with your own style. What is the style that you want to be known for? What is the style that you want your team to be known for? So like I've shared with you that when we have meetings, we have the YY and the WD. And there's a lady who serves in that particular organization who told me, do you know now I tell my friend, when I'm chatting with my friends, I say YY or I say WD, and they ask me what am I talking about? What have we done in that organization? We have created a signature style of how to communicate with each other in short, simple form that helps people know we are paying attention, we appreciate them, and that kind of thing. So what are some norms that you can break and create your own style that you can be known with, that people can own, and that is impact already. The minute that people own your style and it becomes a style in the organization, that already is a signature style. It becomes the way you're known. It becomes the way the organization is known. People own it. That is impact. Now, a couple of things about rising to extraordinary. How do you rise from ordinary to extraordinary? So you have your strategy, you have your systems, you have your structure, and now you understand. You are resisting the stereotypes, you're resisting the silos, and you're creating your own signature style. I'm going to give you 4 A's of how to rise from ordinary to extraordinary. And the first A is you must have an anchor. An anchor, you must have a scientific and spiritual anchor. An anchor is what holds you in the storm. An anchor is what gives you information to make decisions. So scientifically, knowledge. What do you know about a given topic? What do you know about a given trend? And spiritually, what is your response to that? So I often say that whatever religion you are, everybody has a sense of spirituality. For me, I'm a Christian, so my anchor is the Bible. My reference point comes from the Bible. So what about you? You must have a reference point, because if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. So having an anchor helps an extraordinary leader have a point of reference. So you're not just having research data, but you're also having spiritual data that will stand the test of ordinary data. So number one, have an anchor as point of reference to help you make decisions, to help you stand in the storm, to help you bounce back from a setback. An anchor will do that for you. The next A is you need to be authentic. And I hear people say now, okay, you're being vulnerable, and all that is great. So when I talk about being authentic, is understanding that as a leader you will have gone through life and been hurt. So the problem is not being hurt, because everybody will get hurt. On this journey of life, you will experience some pain. But pain is supposed to make us better, not bitter. And when pain makes you better, you come out of the pain with a scar. When you come out of the pain with a scar, you are better able to use that scar to make stars, all right? To make stars, to make other people. Because out of the pain that you went through, you're able to help others come out of a similar pain or avoid a similar pain. So when we are being authentic, we are saying, yes, we've been on this road, we have been hurt, but we are not hurting others with the pain that we received. The pain that we went through has made us better, and we are using it to build other people up. What is that? That is extraordinary leadership. That is impact. Another A in rising to extraordinary is you'll need to be agile, all right? You need to be agile, and you need to be comfortable with chaos. Because if you're going to avoid stereotypes, if you're going to avoid silos, and if you're going to create signature styles, there will be some chaos. Every change comes with a level of chaos, because people have been used to doing things this way, and now you want them to go this way. There are things that are being torn down. Structures are being torn down. Systems are being torn down, all right? So there's going to be chaos. People may complain. People may push back. People may critique, but you have to remain agile to move as quickly as you can, whether it is moving forward and moving backward. Bottom line, you'll have to keep moving back and forth to ensure that you have to keep moving back and forth to ensure that the change that you want to happen is happening, to ensure that people are coming along with you, stopping, making the appropriate changes, But I find that ordinary leaders think that life is perfect. Things need to run smoothly. And indeed, it is good when things run smoothly, but extraordinary leaders understand that before comfort, there is chaos, all right? And if I may quote the Bible says, in the beginning, the earth was dark, it was void and without form. So normally beginnings have no form. When you're dreaming, your dreams normally don't make sense. When you wake up, you're like, I wish I could go back to sleep. So the chaos is not the end of it, it's the beginning of it. Think of a building. When you go to a construction site, there's a lot of chaos, all right? There's the big trucks, that is removing out the earth. There's a lot of bumpy roads. The roads around the construction area is very rough. But within time, when the building is up, the plants have been put around it, there's glass around, it looks beautiful. So if you think about it, most beginnings are chaotic. It's the dreams that are all flashed up and nice, but when you actually roll up your sleeves and start working, there's some chaos, and that's okay. How do you tread through that chaos? That is where now you put on your extraordinary leadership hat and avoid the stereotypes, avoid the silos, give the appropriate people the information that they need to do what is required, have the appropriate meetings with the people, so people are always having information to keep moving, and being careful not to. I've realized that you can tell people only so much in a meeting. So I've learned to have meetings no more than 90-minute meetings. And in the 90-minute, I have a standard structure, I have a standard agenda of what's going to happen in the meeting. And I reinforce little things so that people keep hearing it. Faith comes by hearing, and then they start doing it. John Maxwell said that you keep repeating the vision and the strategy until they make fun of you, until the people that you're working with, the people that you're leading, make fun of you. If they have not made fun of you, then they haven't gotten it yet. Because when they get it, they're going to use some words that you use and make fun of you. And what is that? That is impact. So the final thing in Rising to Extraordinary, the final A in Rising to Extraordinary, alignment. This is a word I love. I love this word because life is not a straight road. And as you're traveling on the road, there's going to be a time that you're trying to go straight and somebody's going this way, the other person is going this way. These people are neither good nor bad, all right? I often say that everybody is really trying to do the best they know where they're at and asking questions, okay? Moving away from stereotypes and saying, this one is just a kimbelembele. Oh, this one is a hard-headed. Oh, this one is that. Avoid stereotypes. Slow the person down, ask them questions, get to know where they're going, why they're going that way, while the others are going this way. Explain to them why people are going this way. Ask them, what did it take you to join us this way? And what is happening in that process? Alignment is happening. Now, these are conversations I call courageous, candid conversations, because extraordinary leaders love people. Extraordinary leaders want to see transformation. Extraordinary leaders understand that perfect love casts out fear. So they're not afraid to have these courageous, candid conversations because they want people to be better. They want transformation to happen. They want impact to happen. So as I wind up, what have we been talking about today? We have been talking about ordinary leadership versus extraordinary leadership. In ordinary leadership, we have said that ordinary leaderships have a strategy which is born out of their vision. They have systems, a step-by-step process to ensure that results are achieved every time, consistently, and they also have structure. Structure is they have roles and responsibilities of the people they are leading, so the people they are leading know what are their roles, what are their responsibilities, what is expected of them. Extraordinary leaders go a step further and suspend judgment. They avoid stereotypes. They come into the room with an open mind and they put a 10 on every head. They suspend judgment. They don't judge people. They ask questions and they assume the best of people, because when you start with a 10, it can only get better. Extraordinary leaders resist silos. They resist having groupings with people with favorites, but find a way to communicate with all the team members to ensure that the work that is required to be done is done. And finally, they create signature styles. Make life interesting. Create signature styles. Don't copy what others do. Be bold to do what you would like to do so that you may leave an impact and transformation in your organization. Thank you very much. This has been Frida Owinga from Passion Profit.
Wow, guys, what a session. Thank you so much, Frida, for the amazing insights, for the amazing pointers on how we can just navigate through this COVID season as we try explore hybrid working. And so guys, Frida is with us on the comment section. So please, if you have any questions from the session, kindly just type them and Frida is with us to answer all the questions.
There you are, stunner, unlike any other. On the stay? Would you stay through the night? Through the night. Would you stay? Would you stay through the night? No, we never talk like this, but these are hard times. Let me skate around it, holding it in like a habit. Show up like the thunder, these things that I wonder. Would you be my lifeline? I'm yours if you be mine. Would you stay here by my side? If it felt like, like the world was ending, would you tell me it's alright, it's alright, it's alright? And if my mind is up in flames, would you stay with me through the night, through the night, through the night? Would you stay, would you stay? Would you stay through the night, through the night? Would you stay with me through the night, through the night, through the would you stay? Would you stay? Would you be my lifeline? I'm yours if you be mine. Would you stay?
Wow, thank you guys for engaging and asking amazing questions. And we are now coming to the end of the Power Talk for this month. And I want to just take this opportunity to thank all of you sincerely for really joining us and just being very engaging in the session. And I want to remind you that every last Sunday of the month, we have this session running. So please, when you see a notification, a poster, just share it with your friends, your family, and let's come and learn together. So thank you so much for being with us for the last 1 hour. I want to wish you a happy day ahead, a happy week ahead. I don't know what time you're watching this, but let's continue engaging online. Our Twitter handle is @Inuka Leadership. That's the same for Instagram. And you can find us on Facebook @Inuka Leadership Africa and on YouTube @Inuka Leadership Africa as well. Thank you. I've been your host, Joe Gashira. Until next month, the next Power Talk with an amazing speaker. See you. God bless you. Keep safe and keep leading young. Asante sana. See you.